Zelle is the new way to move money, and it's already included inside your Renaissance Bank mobile app. No additional downloads, no additional signups. Whether you're paying a friend back for pizza or chipping in for gas, Zelle lets you send money quickly to almost anyone in your contacts. Here's how it works. Open the Renaissance app, log in, and tap the blue button with the white plus sign on it and select Zelle. Choose Send, Request, or Split. Pick who you want to exchange money with, either from your contacts or by entering a phone number or email. Choose the account you want to pay with and select an amount. Review and confirm. To stay organized, you can even include a short description of what each payment is for. That's it. Your money is on the move. Most payments take place in just minutes. No need to download another app. It all happens inside here. Balance the bill, split the check, and pay your way with Zelle. To learn more about Zelle, visit RenaissanceBank.com or download the Renaissance Bank mobile app to start using Zelle today. Renaissance Bank. Understanding you. Member FDIC.
Here, you can be your best. The best train here. Learn here. Succeed here. Perform here. Win here. Thrive here. Itawamba Community College. The best start here.
And welcome to another edition of the ICC Hour here on Super Talk Mississippi. As always, the ICC Hour being presented to you by Renaissance Bank. This week we got an interesting show because it's our virtual football media day. Thanks, COVID. We don't have the ability to bring in our media like we used to for our luncheons, but we're figuring out a way. And we're going to be joined by Coach Chad Cook, Coach Sean Cannon, and a few other players as well. But my special guest right now, socially distanced, about 6 foot that away, is Jordan Smith. And Jordan, football is finally here, but it took a long time to get here.
Well, that in itself, though, is a great thing and a great statement to be able to make because, you know, a month or two ago, we were not very confident that football would even be taking place. So through the conversations we've had with coaches and players, and you just got to give a lot of credit to the commissioners, to the presidents, and really anybody that has anything to do with junior college football here in the state of Mississippi because it took a lot of work to get to this point, but it feels like we're getting close to being there right now.
Well, the Indians coming off a season that the tiebreakers got them again. Had a chance to make it to the playoffs, but unfortunately just couldn't get the tiebreaker to fall in our favor. They did beat Northwest, which is the number 2 team in the country at the time to end the season, so they do have some momentum coming in this year. Jordan, talk about the possibility, or do you feel like they can still build off that momentum with all the distractions that's been going on?
Well, I definitely think they can, Adam, and one of the reasons why it deals with the experience that they have coming back. I mean, think back to this point last year, and you were trying to replace some 40-odd guys that were a member of your team that had moved on. I mean, the attrition that comes with a ball club had really hit hard at this point last year. Fast forward 1 year and through the whole COVID scenario, and you're sitting in a position where there's lots of depth, there's lots of experience, there's lots of guys returning who have played meaningful downs of football for you here. So, as you mentioned that game against Northwest last year, really for me it was the entire season. And you started out slow, 0-3, felt like you should have won a couple of those games. But you can honestly say, looking back to that 2019 year, that team got better week by week. So you bring a lot of those guys back, you give them a brand new look at a brand new season this year, and there's some big opportunities out there for this club.
And talking about this season, another interesting point of the season this year is, as we all know, East Mississippi has elected not to play due to concerns with COVID this year. So that left a week open for the North. So they drew teams to see who they're going to play twice in one season, playing Oklahoma twice in one season, a very interesting twist to the JUCO season.
Right, and you typically aren't going to see that in many college settings. You see it sometimes at the high school level. If you play someone during the regular season, you may see them again a little later on in the playoffs. And then, obviously, in the NFL, your in-division rivals, you're going to play them twice in 1 year. But to see that in a community college setting on a football schedule, that's something a little bit out of the ordinary, and that's going to add a twist to everybody's schedule. You're going to have live game film against a team you've already seen that season. And that's gonna definitely add some things there to the end of that schedule. But it'll be interesting to see Oklahoma week 1 and then Oklahoma again week 7. Again, 6-game season, but a 7-game schedule really to look at with a bye week built in there. the whole thing is just very different. You go from a 9-game schedule to 6. You go from playing 9 different teams to only 5 different teams. But with all those matchups against Northern Division opponents, every single one of them means a lot.
And we'll be joined by Mr. Jim Ingram later in the show also to ask some questions. We also had some media supply some questions for our coaches as well. Jordan, if any year you wanted to have a lot of guys coming back, it would be a season like this. And ICC does have a lot of core guys coming back in that sophomore group.
And, I think that's the theme we're hearing from out of the football office over there right now is there are bodies everywhere, specifically on the offensive side, to where they can step in and really feel like no matter what may hit them, they've got enough guys there to take advantage of those. I mean, at wide receiver, 7 or 8 guys that are ready to step in and play. I mean, not 7 or 8 guys on the roster, but 7 or 8 guys that can step on the field and play at any given moment. From what we're hearing, 3 to 4 different running backs, they intertwine in there and you don't really lose anything. And on the offensive line, you've got a lot of meaningful snaps, guys that have played a lot of time back there. The only question mark there, ironically enough, is at the quarterback spot, where you think about all this experience, but you are going to be having a first-time starter there at quarterback, as it sounds like a really good battle taking place there between a sophomore and Dylan Falk, and then a freshman coming in from out of state, Navy Smith.
Absolutely. Well, Jordan, we've got about a minute or two before we get to the interviews. What is your expectations given the current situation? Because good Lord knows it can change tomorrow. But your expectations for this season?
Well, I think you're going to see ICC come out a lot faster than they did last year. I think the playbook, the scheme on the offense is going to be 100% installed. There's not going to be time over the course of a 7-week season or a 6-game schedule to really install a lot of stuff in the middle of that. It's going to be a team that comes out trying to be clicking on all cylinders, and what you see is going to kind of be what you get as far as the offense is concerned. With the defense, my question will be, with the abundance of practices you've had here leading up to the season, even though you've practiced a lot, you haven't necessarily got to hit a lot. You haven't got a lot of in-game snaps. Will the tackling be crisp? Will the defensive play across the board really in the league, will that be crisp? Because we're a couple of weeks into some meaningful football as far as the college scene is concerned at the Division I level. And I think the common thing across the board there has been the defensive play has not been good. The tackling has been even worse. So will that be something that we see kind of reciprocate itself on down, or will the Indians be ready to step in and play there?
Well, we'll find out about that and a lot more coming up this season. You can catch those games on Super Talk Mississippi 101.9 FM every Thursday night with the Davis Ford pregame show starting 6:30 prior to kickoff. We'll be back with more of the ICC Hour right after this as we talk to Coach Sean Cannon and his expectations about the upcoming season here at ICC.
It's been hard. COVID-19 has affected jobs, maybe even yours. But Itawamba Community College can help. Free tuition is available for short-term career training programs. But don't wait. This opportunity ends in December. Get the skills and training you need for the high-demand job you want. Skill Up Mississippi. Visit skillup.iccms.edu today to see if you qualify.
Renaissance Rewards Extra is the checking account that checks all the boxes. Roadside assistance? Check. Cell phone insurance? Check. More than 400,000 local shopping discounts? Check. Up to $25 per month in ATM refunds and a great rate? Check. All in an easy-to-use mobile app. To open an account or find out more about Renaissance Rewards Extra Checking, go to renaissancebank.com or visit us at any of our more than 190 locations throughout the South. Renaissance Bank. Understanding you. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
And welcome back to the ICC Hour now as we're going to sit down with Coach Sean Cannon, part of today's Virtual Football Media Day. And Coach, the floor is yours.
I want to thank everybody for, tuning in. It's a little bit different times as far as not having to get everybody together in person, but want to thank everybody for getting this together and talking about our season kicking off. And we're real excited, being able to get pushed back is a little bit challenging on the kids a little bit just because we've been practicing for a long time. But looking forward to getting the game week started, and our kids are excited to play, and think we got some great opportunities ahead of us.
All right, Coach, we had a chance to have some media members send in some questions. But before we do that, I want to let you know that Jordan and Jim are with us. And guys, I'm going to let y'all jump in first.
Coach, when you think about getting prepared, when you have sat out a little bit longer than you typically would, guys, in different walks of life right now with everything that's going on with the virus right now, how difficult has it been to get prepared amidst all the other things going on outside?
Well, not having spring football really set us back because you get those, 15, 16, 17 practices you do get. And so we kind of had to combine our preseason with spring and preseason practice. So we spent the first couple of weeks just really trying to get them back in the mode of football and real slow to begin with, and we've started picking up the pace here. I think we got less than 8 days before we play. So I think our kids are progressing well, in getting the football part of it. But it's been a challenge just to keep them motivated, knowing that it's been so long, before we do play a game. Because a lot of these kids have never been this long of a practice without playing, especially as freshmen. You usually they're in 2 weeks and they get ready to play. So that's one thing that's been a little bit different, but we've tried to give them a little bit of time off between here and there, just let them get away from it, get back into it. But I think once we get rolling here in the, for this next week, kids will start kind of getting in that game mode again.
All right, this next question comes from John Pitts at the Daily Journal. We've seen a lack of contact during practice play a role in some of the college seasons that have already begun. What's been your approach to take on live tackling in practice? Well,
that's one thing I was going through social media a couple of weeks ago, and I saw a couple of other schools, across the league were posting their practice footage, and they were in helmets and jerseys. And I'm like, I told the coach, Coach, I feel bad. I said, we're out here, we're in goal line and working all those situations. But we tried to have a mixture. Maybe one full day of we get after it, and then everything else has kind of been, high tackling and things like that. But it's such a fine line because you're tackling the guys you got to play with, and and so we're walking a little bit of a fine line with the kids, understand and take care of each other, but we also got to get ourselves prepared because our backs and receivers, those guys have to get tackled. We got to practice tackling against those guys, so. Such a fine line as a coaching staff to come up with what the best plan is. But we feel like we progressed pretty good and been pretty physical here in the last couple of weeks.
Coach, with the situation of potential COVID coming up, have you had to develop more depth this year? In other words, your starting linebacker goes out because he's sick. You got to have a second linebacker ready to play. What are you doing depth-wise this year?
Well, not necessarily as much on offense or defense. I think Coach Cook and him's done a good job of rotating their players in. Defense, we've suffered a few here's and there's of guys being out and back in and things, but probably more on the special teams part of it than anything, just because you got so many moving parts there with different bodies coming from offense or defense, and that's one thing we've kind of had to make sure that we've got enough guys ready to go in case something like that happens. But my philosophy's always been, if these guys are working hard in practice, we reward them playing in the game. So I think they kind of understand that mode of it. So we've been able to work a lot of guys and get them a lot of reps, because you never know. You never know. Besides even the COVID, you could have an injury that puts somebody out for a couple of weeks. So guys got to be ready to answer the bell.
All right, Coach, this next question comes from Chris Bolton at WCBI. How much does it help the team's defense to bring guys back like Corley Hooper, who has experience from playing from last season, with it being such a difficult offseason to develop chemistry?
Yeah, that's one thing we are. You look at our roster, I think we've got 38 returning players, and, that's either played with us or played in this league, and I think that's a key factor anytime. You look at last year's roster, we were real young, and then this year we're going to be really old. This is one of the years you wish you had 9 games because of the experience that we do have. But I think those guys have, really hadn't fell off a lot what I thought they would, just because of us being able to get out there and get a lot of reps every day, because we've been going about 5 days a week. We take our weekends off, but our kids are in constant football mode now, and so that chemistry is being developed, and it's really more the young guys, getting them understand here's what it's got to take to win. And you see a lot of guys are stepping up in those roles, and but there's one thing I always tell them: there's one thing I can't give you experience, and that's the thing they got to get on their own. But I think our guys are progressing well and coming together.
Coach, you talk about the experience you've got coming back, but the last time we had a chance to sit down and have a conversation like this was back in February, National Signing Day. and you had a lot of guys you were excited to be bringing in at that point. What does the progression for those new guys look like up until this point?
Didn't have to get a lot of offensive linemen, but some guys we have signed have stepped in and did a good job for us. Qdarius Hodges is going to be a guy that we feel like can get a lot of reps for us this year at offensive tackle. Having a returning quarterback with Dylan Falk, but bringing in A.V. Smith, those guys have complemented each other well, and I like where our quarterback situation is now. Mixed in some good running backs. Our receiving core, I think we got about 5 returning guys, but the 3 that we do have with J.J. Daniels and those mixture DK Gaines, I think they've complemented the other guys well. Then defensively, we've added a few here and there. Our secondary, was really where we got depleted last year as far as graduation. But, Davion Sistrunk's come in from Itawamba over here, and he's done a great job at corner for us. And we've had a couple out-of-state freshmen that's done a good job for us and things. So really like kind of where they are right now, breaking in a new kicker, and he's done a good job in practice for us so far. But, anxious to see what they're going to do in a game for sure.
Coach, going back to a question from John Pitts of the Daily Journal, last year beat number 2 Northwest to end the season. Is it possible to have any carryover from that strong finish from last season, or has too much time passed for that to be helpful motivating a team?
No, the thing that I harp on more is really not where we finished, it's how we started last year. And that's one thing that I've kind of said, we cannot start with the limited amount of games we have coming up, we cannot start the way we started last year. Had a chance to win Pearl River our first home game. We lose on the last play of the game there, and then we go to East Central and things like that. So we don't have a lot of time this year to work the kinks out, as they say. So I think our kids understand the urgency we got to have. Great thing is the kids that we do have college experience. I don't think that part's going to affect them as much. I mean, last year I think we had 10 defensive linemen and not one had taken a snap here ever. And so the experience part of it, I think the kids have going to have that sense of urgency when we take the field, on October 1st.
And another follow-up question from John. Unique season. You'll see the same team twice in a shortened season. Does that present any special challenges?
Well, this happened to us back in 2015. We played Gulf Coast the last regular season game 9, then had to turn around and play them again the next week. That was pretty interesting there, the way that worked out. Glad our league stepped up to give these kids that extra game, and I think it worked out where basically it was a draw. They took numbers in a hat and basically drew who's going to play each other twice. But good thing is you see them the first game, you got them the last game, and so NFL does it every year. They play a home and away with division opponents. So I just think it's a great move by our presidents and our commissioner to step that up and give these kids that game that they do deserve.
Coach, we know that every game's important, but especially this year, every game's a North Division game. Mm-hmm. So you got to tell your players to be ready every game. Talk about the importance of every game this year. Only playing 6 games, but they're all Northern Division. The way it worked out, I think our what do we have, a bye week there, after our 3rd game, and so the season's really going to be a little bit longer than probably what they're going to understand. But coming out the gates fast is going to be very important for every team, in the North and the South, just because of the way it's our championship now is going to be set up. The next week it's not a 4-team playoff anymore. You got your North champion and your South champion. They're going to meet for the state title, and so hopefully they'll understand the part of it and I think our older kids will do a good job of leading that part of our team, because I think now some of these high school kids, they get in now, you win 2 games, you're in the playoffs. I don't think they really get the magnitude of every game now is a playoff game. And just going back and look at it last year, the 2 division games, the South Division games that we lost really were division games as well, because it come down to us, beating Northwest and then beating Holmes and then Holmes beating those other 2, right. and it costs a chance to be the champion, so can't shoot ourselves in the foot and got to go out there and play.
Well, Coach, you already mentioned some returning guys that are going to look to be a big factor for next year. Who are some new faces that fans could be looking out for this season?
Was able to add a couple guys in the secondary this year. Feel like Decorian Porter's done a good job for us out of Athens, Alabama. He played for one of my former coaches that I worked with over there, and I think he's shown some pretty good coverage ability in fall camp. Addition of a couple of linebackers, I think it's done a good job for us. Coming in and filling some roles for us. With Brandon Fairley out of Lake Cormorant, I think he's going to be a guy that I think will get better as the year goes on. Breon Jordan out of Philadelphia has done a good job at linebacker for me. Davion Sistrunk, starting him at receiver in camp, and then we had a couple of injuries at corner and moved him over there to kind of give us some depth, kind of see what he could do, and he's kind of stuck at that position. So I feel like he's going to be a guy that will complement those guys out there for the most part out there. Got a couple of returners on the D line. I think those guys have picked up where they left off. As moving forward, but really excited about our receiving core. Got some great guys there back. Barry Flowers had a great year for us. Collins Woods last year made some big plays down the stretch. Quay Davis is. I feel like he'll be a guy that. If he progresses and picked up where he left off from last year, will be a top-notch receiver in this league. And then our running back situation last year with Hiram kind of being the guy, but feel like this year we got Jamarcus Qualls back, who gave us a lot of mileage down the road last year. R.J. Wilson, who made some humongous runs last year. I think the one against Mississippi Delta there, he took a 90-something yard run, but. Those guys, you can tell, even though we wasn't together in the spring, they really, paid the price and lifted weights. You could tell they come in and got their bodies where it needs to be, and we feel like Jamal Brooks and Tyler Day back there is going to give us kind of a 1-2 punch at that H-back position, and excited about our specialists. I think our kicker's going to do a great job out of Olive Branch, Shane Lasher. He's shown an ability to kick some, put a lot of pressure on those guys in practice. Hey, if you make this kick, when the team don't run, and of course the team gets around, you better make this kick, So I think he's done a good job of that, and kicking in the level that he kicked in the 5A, the scheduled Olive Branch played. I think that part will not get him as much there. So really excited about our team, and of course every coach is this time of year, and hopefully we're still talking about the same excitement after 7 weeks of regular season play.
Well, Coach, I appreciate your time. I know you got to get ready to go get to practice this afternoon, but anything else you'd like to add? Yeah,
we're excited. I know this football getting kicked off in the last couple of weeks with college starting, and I think it kind of shows the how much football does matter around where we live, and hopefully we'll be able to get our games in, give our kids this opportunity, and I think it's a bold move and a great move by our league to be able to play this fall. I think they made the right decision as far as not rushing to a decision to cancel, and just let's let this thing play out, and hopefully that our teams across the league will get all their season in. And I think that's one thing that's a positive for our league for sure.
We'll be back with Coach Chad Cook right after this on the ICC Hour.
Renaissance Rewards Extra is the checking account that checks all the boxes. Roadside assistance? Check. Cell phone insurance? Check. More than 400,000 local shopping discounts? Check. Up to $25 per month in ATM refunds and a great rate? Check. All in an easy-to-use mobile app. To open an account or find out more about Renaissance Rewards Extra Checking, go to renaissancebank.com or visit us at any of our more than 190 locations throughout the South. Renaissance Bank. Understanding you. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
That's home. That's just like the Ravens. That's just like Pahokee, Florida. That's my second home. I got my degree from there, my first degree, college degree. It's part of my heart, it's part of my soul, it's part of my spirit. And it's everything. Itawamba Community College, baby, it's everything. It shaped me up to being a great man because it was part of the journey of me becoming the young man I am today. And it's home, man. That's it. Like, I could go there and lay my head down without no problems. Itawamba Community College, the best story here.
Everyone has a unique story to tell. Maybe your story has you performing your new song in front of a crowd, getting to play your favorite sport, or enjoying a horseback ride in the country. At Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi, our group of skilled surgeons understand your need to continue your story. That is why we are the preferred choice for orthopedic care. Thank you for choosing us. Our story is you. Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi.
My burger goes best with mustard.
Ketchup and mustard.
Grass-fed beef.
No, corn-fed.
On the grill.
Now, flat top.
Iceberg lettuce.
Nah, arugula. Jalapeno.
No way. Avocado, dude.
Medium rare. Gotta be well done. Brioche.
Sesame seeds.
American cheese.
Cheddar.
Can I have a turkey burger? What? Turkeys are for Thanksgiving, man. I like my burger with the Coke.
I'll agree to that. Strictly with the Coke.
Only with the Coke.
Coke and a burger. Come on.
All right.
That's where you get the flavor.
It's been hard. COVID-19 has affected jobs, maybe even yours. But Itawamba Community College can help. Free tuition is available for short-term career training programs. But don't wait. This opportunity ends in December. Get the skills and training you need for the high-demand job you want. Skill Up, Mississippi. Visit skillup.iccms.edu today to see if you qualify.
And welcome back to the ICC Hour here, Football Virtual Media Day, as we're talking with offensive coordinator Chad Cook now. Coach Cook, first off, just tell us a little bit about the offense this season.
Well, it's the thing that stands out, I got so many back. You know, we didn't have a spring because of the COVID stuff, but what I've learned in this league, would be my fourth year, is if you got returning guys, it's big, you know, because you don't have to explain what they're getting into game one, whereas the freshmen, it's usually game 3 or 4 before they understand exactly what you've been saying because the speed of the game is fast. And up front, we got probably 5 to 6 O-linemen that played last year. Got a quarterback back that played some, but not a lot. You know, wish we'd had a spring with Dylan where he could, you know, kind of see what he could do for 15 practices. Feel good at running back. Got 2 guys back that played a lot, had a couple of good signees. At receiver, probably what stands out the most. Our returning receiver, Barry Flowers, is back. Got Collins Woods back. Got Quay Davis back. And we got to lean on those guys early, which as fast as I want to play on offense, I need some depth. And we've had a couple freshman O-linemen that's come in and played. So just looking at it now, we hadn't played a game. I feel like this is one of the deeper teams that I've had on offense.
Coach, you talk about having that experience, and we all know the importance of that, but you also hit on losing a quarterback who had a lot of experience last year as well. So how do you feel about that battle? I know you brought a guy in as well, a freshman there, between Dylan and A.V. Smith there.
Yeah, it's been a good battle. As we looked last year, we was trying to find, and anytime you want great competition, you know, and the way it's worked out the last few years, I've kind of had the starter, and then I've had a backup, and it was kind of, early on, you could tell, which I had Dan Ellington, and Dan was actually returning. And then Clark kind of started out number 3 in 2 years ago and then took over. So then I had him coming back, which the good thing about Dylan is he kind of understands what we're doing. He knows how I like to run practice. He knows the drills we run, and it kind of gave him a leg up. And then we went out and recruited A.V. Smith from Escambia, and a guy that's got a really quick release, understands. Probably his strength is, you know, RPO game. He understands, he kind of come up in a system similar to ours, and he understands where the ball needs to go. But it's been good. Still hadn't quite nailed who it is. Wouldn't shock me if they both played the first game, just because I think both of them bring something to the table that can help the football team.
This next question comes from John Pitts with the Daily Journal. With more time before the start of the season, has it been tempting to add more layers to what you hope to do on the field, or has the main emphasis been on refining the executions of things you had otherwise planned to be normal in a normal season?
A little of both, because I've kind of had to manage. We didn't have a spring. I knew we was going to have more time, and I knew the fundamental part of what I wanted to get done actually gave me more time, because a lot of times when we start out, we have to start implementing, even though, you know, I think we get 24 practices for the first game. So with these extra weeks, it's kind of allowed me to focus on the fundamental part. So I kind of used the first 2 weeks of, hey, I'm not really worried about if you understand from the beginning of a play to the end. If you understand all 3 reads, let's get the first part down, the first second of each play. What I mean by that, receivers, let's make sure our spacing is good. Let's make sure our stance are good and our first steps are good. Running backs, let's make sure our spacing is good, our first steps, our angles are good. Quarterbacks, let's work on our feet. So it's kind of been, it's helped me, but, you know, you think about this, I think going all the way back to when I was in 7th grade, I think it's 29 or 30 years that I've had a spring practice. I either was playing it in high school, playing it in college, or coaching. So it's kind of a fish out of water to me, but it helped me to, with these extra, 2 weeks, probably 8 to 10 practices, let's just hone in on the very beginning. And as you're doing that, it kind of, you feel like you're getting behind because you've never been able to do this, because that's what you do in spring and you're in the fall. So it's kind of worked out good, because I think as I watch film right now, the first part of the play, the first 2 steps of O-line, doesn't matter if we're running zone, outside zone, power scheme, pass setting, it all starts there. So I think I'm starting to see the benefits of being able to go slow, because of what was dealt with.
Coach, we talked about the experience of your offense and players coming back, the experience of your offensive line. Talk about some freshmen coming in that might get some playing time on the offensive line.
Q Hodge is out of South Panola, a guy that we identified early in the recruiting process. And plus, if you play at South Panola, you've been playing really good ball. We didn't know if we needed him at tackle, needed him at guard. He's come in and done a really good job. We've kind of settled him at right tackle. I think he's maybe backing up some at guard. Done a really good job. Elaine, another guy, big guy, kind of built like Cameron Orr. He's every bit of 6'6", long. I think when he got here, he was 260. Now he's 298. So he took it upon himself because he's got the frame. He'd probably go to 315 and still be able to play. I've been pleased with him. Speed of the game was getting him a little early, just because of the way, these defensive linemen are in here. But I'm expecting those 2 guys to help us. Now, are they starting? Not quite figured out yet, but we definitely need those 2 to play, because we got 5 to 6 that played some last year.
When you talk about how, we talked a minute ago about losing Clark, those 2 new guys at the quarterback spot. A lot of times from a scheme or a tempo standpoint, things change based on the quarterback. Do you expect to see any changes within the offense due to a change at the quarterback spot this time?
Well, I'm gonna play to their strengths, which both of them, which I recruited Dylan and then brought AV in. They understand what we're doing. I think the good thing is which I really like to run the RPO part of, where they've got option to give the ball, keep the ball, 3 different routes, or they can check it. I think, and it benefits me as a coach, is they have done that through the years. So what I really like to do is kind of their, I guess you say, cup of tea, what they feel most comfortable with. The things we probably need to improve on, I think our 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 2nd and long, we got to get better there. But, I guess to answer you, I hopefully, if they keep going the way they are, I think we can actually play a little faster than we did last year, because I've got more depth, and I can take a running back out, put another one in. I really feel like I got 3 or 4 to play. I feel like I got 6 or 7 receivers. So I think the tempo, I want to probably push the tempo more, because I feel like I've got a lot of guys that deserve to play, because they've been practicing really good. And then that'll help us, because we're not real big on offense, like up front. We're kind of more of probably what I'd say more of a zone team. We're out in space. It's kind of their cup of tea. So hopefully we can push the tempo, more this year.
Coach, this next question comes from Chris Bolton at WCBI. You had talked about not having the benefit of having spring, only getting caught up here in the fall. Is the playbook going to be limited to the starting part of the season, or are you going to go full out with it?
All out, because I feel like we've had time, and I've got enough guys that, really, like going into spring, I could walk 11 out there and feel pretty good about. Now, maybe I couldn't get in a lot of power run sets, but I had enough kids that had played before. So now I really feel like we've got, enough guys that, what I'd say 12 or 13 guys on the field, I feel like they could probably run right now up to probably 85% of what we do. Now, when I put the 2s in, I got to make sure I limit their package to keep it where they're not thinking as much. Because once they think, it slows them up, and then you can't play as fast as you want to.
Coach, you've been discussing this already today, but it's very important this year. Of course, you're going to have injuries, but with maybe the threat of COVID, you developed some good depth this year on offensively, I hope.
Yeah, I feel like we've had not so much musical chairs, but when, take for instance, last scrimmage, I think 6 different running backs touched the ball. 10 different receivers touched the ball. 3 different quarterbacks touched the ball, and 2 different H-backs touched the ball, and 9 different linemen played. Now, we did that because you don't really ever know, the 2's always 1 play away from starting, but in a sense where you could liable to lose half, because everybody's got roommates and virus, they're out, quarantine, and that to me as a coach was my job, not so much just to hone in on the starting units, but to build that depth all the way to our last signee on offense.
We talked with Coach Cannon a little while ago about how the speed of the game is different from a high school senior year to a junior college freshman. Is there any concern for you as a coach? We've been in practice this situation for a couple months now, getting ready, leading up, that the speed of the game is going to be very different for these guys in a couple Thursdays when they step out there for the first time?
Some of them it will be, because there's nothing like experience. I can go back when I first started playing Pee Wee, high school, college ball. There's nothing. You listening to your coach, but all you can go by is what you did in the past. Right? So most of these kids we have, they were the best players on their team. So the only thing they're relating to was, well, I did this, I did it. And I try to tell them, say, look, who was the best team y'all played? All right, you was in 5A. Was it Lafayette? Was it Olive Branch? Who was it? You're going to get that times 4 or 5 every play, not just that one game in the North Hass Championship. You're going to get that speed every game. And you try to simulate it in practice the best you can, but there's really nothing like experience, for them to see it on their own. Same thing for me. I've seen this league before I got here, and what I thought it was by watching practice, and then when we go down there to Gulf Coast in 2017, it's different now. Just that there's some really good athletes, and it's kind of a trial by fire. You've got to put them out there, and most of the time they need to fail. Hopefully it don't cost you a game, where they can see how they need to succeed on each play.
And Coach, I know you got to get ready for practice this afternoon. So any final thoughts or anything you would like to mention before we let you go?
Just ready to get started. We've been out there going against each other. I'm pretty sure Coach Cannon's tired of hearing our offensive plays, and our offense is tired of hearing their checks, But the thing I've really been impressed, the way Coach Cannon's run the program, is the kids, you can see them starting to buy in more and more. There's been days out there, felt like it's 110 degrees, and you'd think some of them think, we don't play the 6 week, our game. But he's tried to make it where they're focused at the task at hand. And that makes our job easier as coaches when the kids are ready. Even though it seems like a long way, we got to make sure we do all this. I'm just ready for October 1st to kind of see where we're at.
Well, Chad, I appreciate your time. When we come back with more of the ICC Hour, we're going to sit down with a few players and get their thoughts heading into this season. Right back with more right after this.
Zelle is the new way to move money, and it's already included inside your Renaissance Bank mobile app. No additional downloads, no additional signups. Whether you're paying a friend back for pizza or chipping in for gas, Zelle lets you send money quickly to almost anyone in your contacts. Here's how it works. Open the Renaissance app, log in, and tap the blue button with the white plus sign on it, and select Zelle. Choose Send, Request, or Split. Pick who you want to exchange money with, either from your contacts or by entering a phone number or email. Choose the account you want to pay with and select an amount. Review and confirm. To stay organized, you can even include a short description of what each payment is for. That's it. Your money is on the move. Most payments take place in just minutes. No need to download another app. It all happens inside here. Balance the bill, split the check, and pay your way with Zelle. To learn more about Zelle, visit RenaissanceBank.com or download the Renaissance Bank mobile app to start using Zelle today. Renaissance Bank. Understanding you. Member FDIC.
Davis Ford in Fulton is your Ford dealer for new cars, trucks, and SUVs and has a wide inventory of certified pre-owned vehicles. Find your next dream car or truck from our Ford showroom or go online to davisfordsales.com and search our new and used inventory to see what is on our lot. So stop by and test drive the all-new fuel-efficient Ford Focus or Ford Fusion or the new Ford Explorer or F-150. Go further with Davis Ford, 904 West Main Street in Fulton or online davisfordsales.com.
Student involvement is a top priority here at Itawamba Community College.
If you want to be involved with student government, then the Student Government Association is the place for you.
If you have a stellar GPA, then Phi Theta Kappa is for you.
If you're interested in the diverse culture of our campus population, then the Diversity Club is for you.
If you're interested in leadership and service, then Indian Delegation is for you.
If you're majoring in computer programming or computer networking, then CPNA, the Computer Programming Networking Association, is for you.
If you're interested in good conversations and free lunch on Thursdays, then the Wesley Foundation is for you.
Our health science programs also have specific organizations for those majors.
Student Activities is excited to bring you new opportunities here at the ICC Tupelo campus.
Whatever your passion may be, we have a place for you.
This video is brought to you by Phi Theta Kappa Beta Chi Sigma Tupelo campus.
You live life on your own terms. You won't be told what you can't do. And we're here to back you. From the boardroom to the big stage, Renaissance Bank supports women striving for success. Because greatness isn't held to anyone's expectations, except yours. So if anyone says you can't, prove them wrong. Rise with Renaissance, supporting women in the communities they influence every day.
It's been hard. COVID-19 has affected jobs, maybe even yours. But Itawamba Community College can help. Free tuition is available for short-term career training programs. But don't wait. This opportunity ends in December. Get the skills and training you need for the high-demand job you want. Skill Up Mississippi. Visit skillup.iccms.edu today to see if you qualify.
And we're back here on the ICC Hour with ICC sophomore defensive lineman Jacoy Randolph. Jacoy, obviously a lot different year this year than you've been used to. No spring practice. Kind of how have things been going since you've been able to get back there on the football field?
We basically just been taking it day by day, just trying to get better. We know COVID going on. We just take it however we can. We go day by day. We just trying to get everybody back in shape in order for the season.
Obviously, the defensive line, a lot of returners there. Hopefully, going to be one of the strengths on the defense this time around. What should we be looking for there up front on defense?
Well, now that we got sophomores coming back, we pride ourselves on being the leaders of defense. So we want to set the tone early in the game. So we practice as hard as we can, so we'll be able to do that in the game. Just practice like you want to play in the game.
Know that you got a lot of other sophomores around you this year. What's kind of the overview been for everybody there?
Well, us having like a lot of sophomores returning should give us an advantage. You know, other teams, they getting more freshmen. You know, younger guys, they're not going to be as experienced. They're not going to know what to expect. So we're coming back expecting everything, all the challenges. We just going to push through and get there.
Obviously going to be a little bit different looking season this year. Last year, 9-game season. This year, only 6, but after seeing the offense, you know, the ICC offense in practice for so long, I know you got to be ready to go out there and line up against somebody that's not wearing the same uniform you are.
Man, yeah, we just taking it day by day. You know, we're trying to keep everybody healthy. We want to keep everybody ready so we can have our horses to go first game one. But our defense, we pretty much ready though. Like as long as we go both provide and perform.
Obviously, the speed of the game is different between practice and between an actual game. What's the one thing that you think will be the biggest difference when y'all line up and face Kahoma here in a couple weeks?
Well, they're going to come out with a mentality to just go, in my opinion. Like, it's not like practice. We don't got time for breaks. We're going to have to condition ourselves, run hard in practice so we can be able to do that in the game.
Sophomore running back R.J. Wilson. R.J., obviously this year's been a lot different. Spring practice wasn't there. You know, games got pushed back about a month from what they usually are, but what's it been like out there on the practice field as you prepare for this upcoming season?
Well, it's not how I thought it was going to be. We kind of adapted to it very well. The team did. We all come together as one now.
I talked with Coach Cook and Coach Cannon a little earlier this morning, and they said the same thing. They said, we've been able to watch the team come together over the course of this whole pandemic. What has it been like for you as a player to be a part of a team that's meshed so well?
Well, I'm really glad that I came here to ICC because the way that we play and practice, like we adapt to things very well. That like when COVID hit, like I thought it was gonna be a big deal, but the team kind of took over that.
We're talking with Coach Cook, offensive coordinator here at ICC earlier today. One thing he said that stuck out the most about the team so far, specifically on the offensive side, has been the depth, specifically at the skill positions at wide receiver and at running back. You being one of those running backs, what's it like to be in a room full of guys that are ready to go out there and compete?
Well, I'm glad we got a lot of running backs this year because last year we didn't have as many as we had this year. So when one of us get tired, we got another back that's just as good as us coming in. The freshman running backs that we got this year and also the H-backs, they come to play, so I'm not very concerned about them not getting in and not knowing what to do.
When I think about back to last year with you and Coral specifically, two guys that are both very productive at the running back spot, but have two different styles as well. I think him more of a north-south power guy, and you more of an outside runner. Do you like being able to bring different things to the table like that?
Yes, sir, I do. So when we play different teams, we don't have to run a lot of power or a lot of zone. We can mix it up. Like this year, like running stretch, zone, power, counter, we can do all those things. And also we can flare out to outside to catch passes.
What do you think is going to be the strong suit with the offense this year?
Strong suit is the running backs running the ball and the receivers getting open. So when they are a threat to the DBs, it'll open the box up more so we can run the ball down the throat.
Coach Cook, again, talked about having that depth there earlier, but he also said that with the extra practice dates before the first game, that's been allowed him to really install the whole offense. Do you feel like that whole offense has been installed and y'all are ready to step out there against Oklahoma in a couple weeks?
I really do because we put in a lot of stuff and we had a lot of time to go over those things because not having spring practice, not having spring practices, we came in and we had extra time to put in those plays and run those plays over and over again.
Back here on the ICC Hour, brought to you by Renaissance Bank, and we're here with sophomore safety Peyton Ray. And Peyton, obviously, as a sophomore last year, looked very different than this year has from a preparation standpoint. What's it been like out there getting prepared on the practice field?
Once we got into practice, like coming up here, it's been the same just about when going out onto the field. Been working hard and just preparing to get ready for the game.
With everybody we've talked to associated with the program, one thing that's constantly come up is how well the team is meshed together over the course of this extended practice period. Is that something you've seen as well?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of sophomores coming back, so I think a lot of leadership roles, and that was good coming in.
I know on the defense, lots of guys returning, but the one place that was kind of hit harder than anywhere else with attrition was at the defensive back spot. You being one of those lone guys returning at the DB role, playing safety, what are you looking for from some of those newcomers, and how's that been progressing?
We all gotta be on the same page. Everybody's gotta know the plays and just all gotta find that clicking.
Have you seen any of those young guys that have just stepped up and really filled roles quickly?
Yeah, they're getting there. They're learning the plays a lot better. They're getting used to the roles, getting used to the different level, but they're getting ready. They're getting used to it.
Obviously, this season is going to look a lot different than last season did. 9-game year last year compared to 6 games this season due to COVID. One team that you're going to play twice. What do you think about how it's all kind of come together as far as everything that had to happen to make sure this season took place?
I'm just glad we're getting to play in the fall. I'd rather play in the fall than the spring, so that's my opinion right there.
Yeah. So obviously it will look a lot different out there, but with you being the second leading returning tackler on the team this year, you're going to be looked to as one of those leaders on the defensive side. Are you ready to step into that role?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
What is the one place you'd like to see the defense improve the most between now and October 1st?
We got to make tackles, force more turnovers.
I'm glad you said that about tackles, because one thing that I've noticed a lot of, as Division I schools and stuff have been playing here the last couple of weeks, is lots of people talking about the tackling has not been very crisp anywhere. What are some things y'all are doing in practice to shore up tackling and make sure that's not something that sticks out as a sore thumb when things get started?
On defense, we do tackling drills every day, and then just fitting up, making tackles, just practicing, doing team and stuff like that.
Here with Tyler Day. Kind of got an interesting role there in the offense. Sometimes could be called a tight end, sometimes an H-back, but Tyler's a sophomore back here at ICC. Tyler, obviously, year 2 with you here with us on campus in Fulton. This year's been a lot different than last year would be, though.
Freshman year I got a little experience while starting, but it was kind of my first year playing tight end, like permanently, because I played running back mostly in high school, but it's good to play, start new, different things and stuff like that.
Tell us a little bit about that. So you say you were running back in high school and had made a transition here on the college scene. What's that been like for you?
Well, it's not much of a transition because I've been kind of like blocking in our offense in high school. Like everybody get the ball. We on the same. We all in the game at the same time, so you never know who getting the ball. And this year I was playing running back and receiver a little bit more, so kind of all over the field right now.
Well, when you think about kind of your role within the offense here, how would you define that for someone?
Just being a team player kind of guy, and it helps getting recruited too. You can play any position; they'll get you at whatever position you want, basically.
Yeah. When you think about where the offense is right now compared to maybe where they were at before the season last year, is there a comparison between the two, or do you think y'all have kind of matured more quickly this time?
We got a lot of experience this year. Our running backs and receivers, kind of, Barry Flowers, he stepped up last year as a redshirt freshman. And he's gonna be a type of guy, a big guy this year. And Quay Davis, kind of the same thing. He can play running back too, but he's just a bigger guy at receiver. Collins Woods, a D1 guy. We just got a lot of guys out there. So,
whenever you think about kind of how practice has been pushed back a little bit because of the virus and we missed spring practice, what's it been like to get back out there on the practice field and kind of start working towards getting ready for the season?
It's exciting, It's what we've been waiting on because we didn't have a spring. So, as soon as we got out there, we were just kind of fired up, just ready to hit. And we're starting to ease it down right now because it's getting close to game time. So, we're starting to get into that game feel and game energy type thing. So that's good.
When that first game comes around against Oklahoma here in a couple of weeks, what's going to be that thing when you wake up that Thursday morning? What are you going to be looking the most forward to?
Just being out there will be exciting for me. Because I have a spring, so I don't know. It's going to be exciting. Yeah. That's all I can say.
What is the name of a newcomer on the team this year that somebody an outside ICC fan may not know who they are right now, but by the time the season's over, they're going to know who he is?
JJ, he's a receiver. He kind of undersized, but he can move. He's quick. Yeah, slot guy. AB, a quarterback from Florida. You'll probably see him switching out with Dylan Falk. He played last year. He got a couple experiences. There's a lot of guys you'll see. So yeah.
Do you think that experience and kind of the depth that the offense has, is that the strong point of this team?
Because last year we only had 20 sophomores or something like that, and now we got 40 something. So and all of us played, so we rotated. So we all got experience of what a game feels like over here.
All right, man. Well, good luck to you this year. We're excited to see y'all suit up and get out there.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
Renaissance Rewards Extra is the checking account that checks all the boxes. Roadside assistance? Check. Cell phone insurance? Check. More than 400,000 local shopping discounts? Check. Up to $25 per month in ATM refunds and a great rate? Check. All in an easy-to-use mobile app. To open an account or find out more about Renaissance Rewards Extra Checking, go to renaissancebank.com or visit us at any of our more than 190 locations throughout the South. Renaissance Bank. Understanding you. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
That's home. That's just like the Ravens. That's just like Pahota, Florida. That's my second home. I got my degree from there, my first degree, college degree. It's part of my heart, it's part of my soul, it's part of my spirit. And it's everything. Itawamba Community College, baby, it's everything. It shaped me up to being a great man because it was part of the journey of me becoming the young man I am today. And it's home, man. That's it. Like, I can go there and lay my head down without no problems. Itawamba Community College, the best story here.
Everyone has a unique story to tell. Maybe your story has you performing your new song in front of a crowd, getting to play your favorite sport, or enjoying a horseback ride in the country. At Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi, our group of skilled surgeons understand your need to continue your story. That is why we are the preferred choice for orthopedic care. Thank you for choosing us. Our story is you. Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi.
It's been hard. COVID-19 has affected jobs, maybe even yours. but Itawamba Community College can help. Free tuition is available for short-term career training programs. But don't wait. This opportunity ends in December. Get the skills and training you need for the high-demand job you want. Skill Up, Mississippi. Visit skillup.iccms.edu today to see if you qualify.
Brought to you by Renaissance Bank, the bank that understands you. Learn more at renaissancebank.com.